Hello everyone, it's been a while since I've posted. I want to take a new angle at this YouTube channel because there's so many, how I made this amount in that amount of time. Oh, through this cold calling strategy, through this DM script, and I'm one of them. I don't want to be one of them. The goal isn't to be a sellout, document my journey, and sell you on affiliates and build a Discord. While I've done those things, and I'm so grateful for having that community of now 1,500 people that are all working hard. The initial goal was not to be a sellout and to go in SMMA, become a guru, and then from there funnel people in, get a bunch of affiliate money, and then live the dream life. I'm a hypocrite because I've done this, but now through, basically getting to know more about myself, being more self-aware, I realised I would rather do something long-term that's going to build self-respect within me, because that is just, it doesn't make me respect myself being a sellout when I initially set out to build a business and then I sold myself short by trying to do everything for affiliates. That's not what I want to do. So this is basically going to be an accountability series where I hold myself accountable. It's not for views, it's not for likes, it's not to grow, it's purely for me to look back on and say, from that point, the version of me, Cameron England, in 5 years' time is going to look at me now and be like, wow, that kid thought he knew everything and he knew absolutely nothing. So I'll basically just be holding myself accountable, walking you through where I'm at in the journey, what problems I'm facing, and if you can resonate with that and find some value in it, even better. More so, this is for me to look back on as a personal growth standpoint, because I think the purpose of my life as of now, and I could be entirely wrong on this, I have a lot to learn just in this life as a whole, but SMMA is the reason I got into self-improvement as a whole. And with that, I've realized a lot of things about myself. I've realized that maybe I have these deep insecurities that I've never really talked about or even made myself aware of that need ironing out, and I need to address, and I need to use them as driving factors. And that's what I've been really trying to understand about myself, just what gets me out of bed in the morning. And it is quite deep things that I never really thought about initially. But as of now, and we're talking the 21st of April, I've made around $15,000 online, making money online. It might be $16,000. We're about 6 months into this journey, and it's been stressful. Service delivery, acquisition, bottlenecks are constantly changing, but that's just a part of how a business works. You focus on acquisition and then service delivery is the problem, and vice versa. Maybe it's retention. Problem after problem after problem. You solve the first bottleneck, you're onto the second. These bottlenecks are constantly switching. There's never, from my experience now, I don't believe there's ever a point where there isn't a bottleneck or a problem, because there's always something you can be improving on. If you're getting a bunch of clients through the door, okay, great. Now the onboarding process is too long. How can I speed that up? Okay, now I've got them onboarded. Now there's all these other problems. How can I curve that in the future? All these things that I can be slowly improving. Now, I've been to the gym today. I go to the gym 6 times a week consistently. 1 year ago today, I was 63 kilograms. I'm now 74 kilograms weighed in today. I can do 4 muscle ups in a row. And I just want to look back on this and be like, okay, great. This is the very start. While I've been going gym consistently for about a year now, this is the very start of my journey. Like, I want to be able to look back on this, still consistently going in 20 years time, being proud of where I've got to. So as of now, we're at 15,000 overall dollars is how much I've made online. Maybe a bit more actually, because that's, no, tell a lie. $15,000 in one Stripe account. Let me just take a look at the others. I believe it might be quite a bit more actually. I've underestimated myself here. Okay, so 4.6k GBP to USD. Okay, so maybe I've made about $23,000 online. I've made about $2,000 from affiliates, which is great. Always an extra bit of money, but I don't want to be a sellout. I want to hold myself accountable. Now, I'm going to post gym content, fitness content, overall self-improvement content, and I can even run you through quickly, if anybody's curious, what my morning routine looks like. Okay, so I read this every morning. I go through it in detail every morning, and I went through stages and phases where I didn't have a morning routine, but I've realized how important it is to build mental clarity and be self-aware of what's driving me, where I want to get to, and what I perceive as the end goal. Because you can work all you want, but once I hit a certain milestone and I think that's the be all and end all, I could lose all motivation or drive or feel like I've accomplished my purpose. So to me, building mental clarity and actually being self-aware of what pisses me off, what problems I have mentally, what things I can be improving, what things I'm addicted to, these little things are so massive because it's how you grow as an individual. If you're self-aware of what problems you face and what things you need to overcome, you're going to grow much quicker than somebody who turns a blind eye to it and just continues to hammer down the work, in my opinion. And personally, from me, I would rather be very self-aware, know who I am and where I want to get to, than already be in a position of wealth. To me, what's more important than money is happiness and being self-aware and constantly having some sort of purpose that drives me, like getting out of the morning with a fire, knowing you need to get up and you need to do something. That's more important to me than any amount of money, because for me it just seems like at this point, once I get to that milestone, I'll feel like I can just sit back and relax and I'll have nothing to do, when I don't want to be that person. Of course I want to make money, of course I want to provide for my family, but more importantly, I want to make an impact on the world. I want to be able to help other people do what I'm doing now and go through the hardships it takes, because it's hard. Now, let me run you through a couple of things. So I have a plan, I have a definite chief aim board, I have quite literally a document that I ask myself on a morning, every single morning, what makes me uncomfortable? Okay, I don't want to ask for money on the phone. I don't want to approach women in person. I don't want to go do cold walk-ins on med spas. I don't want to eat healthy with no ketchup and mayonnaise and desserts. These things make me uncomfortable because they don't keep me in my comfort zone in a nutshell. So I need to read that and say, look, these things are the things I need to do and work towards if I want to get to the best version of me. Now, if I get this document up, you can see here, I've got a document here. I'm not going to read through it because it's quite deep, but I will go through it potentially in a year or 2 or 3, you never know, when I've achieved the best version of Cameron England, however long that takes. Now, it quite literally goes in detail, and I got this idea from Charlie Morgan as to where I'm going to live, what car I'm going to drive, what house I'm going to buy, people in my family, what holiday I'm going to go on, what person I want to be, what shape I'm in, what I eat, what a day-to-day daily routine looks like for the best version of me. So I know what I'm working towards. So I'm not working towards a certain financial figure, I'm working towards a better version of me, because I often find myself comparing myself to other people. Oh, this kid at 15 has made 10k. I wish I was doing that at 15. Oh, this kid has just bought his mum a house. I wish I could do that now. But the only person that you should be competing with is yourself yesterday. That's how I see it, and I could be entirely wrong from my opinions and viewpoints, but this is just my perspective right now. I just want to know that I'm better than me yesterday. That way I know I'm growing towards the best version of myself. And I go through this document, so it basically says, no, you will not quit, no, you'll not give up on your purpose. And everybody that either I've told them I'm going to, do something that makes me highly successful or be highly successful, or they don't believe that I can. And if that's the case, then they're on here and I'll read it, because not only do I want to be driven by things that, or people that don't believe in me, but also by people that do believe in me and do think that I'm going to get to this point, because I would be disrespecting them if I've told them these things, they believed in me and I didn't get to that point. And where it says, no, you will not let young fat Cam down, what that means is I don't want to let myself down from 3-4 years ago, who believed he was going to do something but he didn't know how he was going to do it, and then that breakthrough came and I started putting in the action. I would be doing myself a disservice, and that self-respect would not be there if I didn't prove fat me 4 or 5 years ago right, because I knew I would do something, I just didn't know what. And Max Pearson is on here as well, because he literally coaches me now. He coaches me, he helps me with everything in terms of mindset, business, scaling my agency. And if he was to devote this amount of time into me, to helping me grow, and I just decided to turn a blind eye and go back to a job and not pursue this business and just growing as an individual, I would be doing a disservice to him, and I would not only lose my own respect, but I'd lose his respect. So that's just ultra important to me, to prove the people that have helped me, or potentially when I was struggling or when I needed help and advice, they helped me out and they gave me a genuine, guidance. I feel like to respect myself, I need to help them. I might have just rambled on. And Max also gave me this quote. So if you knew you were 20 failures / defeats away from your first million, you would celebrate every time you could check one failure off your list. And I was like, wow. And that really did switch the dynamic for me. Not seeing failures and losing clients and having to dispute chargebacks or potentially injuring myself at the gym. And all these little things, one, are a part of life, or a part of growth as an individual. And two, as it says here, failures are a good thing as long as you keep going. If you fail and then you quit, then it's a bad thing. You obviously need to get through those failures, which is why now when I fail, or I lose a client, or I mess up, or I blow loads of budget on some ads that don't work, then I'm like, okay, what can I learn from this? Okay, this client churned within 3 weeks. Why did they do that? Oh, great, because I didn't set expectations right from the offset that it takes a month to see results minimum. They need to stay with me for a couple of months. Okay, now I know that for next time, and that is a failure that I can check off my list and say, I learned a lesson from that. And then this graph from Charlie Morgan that I look at on a daily basis every morning. People give up at point A and point B. Point A is when you first start, when you outreach, when you don't see the result, when you expect to get a client by the click of a finger, people give up. And point B is when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, exponential growth. And I would say every 2 weeks, I get a couple of days within those 2 weeks where I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should switch knees. Maybe I should go back to college. Maybe I should do something. But from my opinion, I think I'm at point B. I'm on the verge of a breakthrough and I just need to go one more day, giving my all, one more day. And if I can just keep going one more day and convincing myself that's all it takes is one more day, then eventually I'm going to get to that breakthrough and it's going to all be worth it. And also another way to see failures is, okay, I've just failed. I've just hit a massive bump in the road. Not a lot of people are going to get over that bump in the road. So by me doing that, I'm separating myself from 99% of other individuals that won't tolerate that pain and get over that bump in the road. And that's where this graph comes into play, which I personally made. And now it makes sense in my head. I understand the dynamic, but I don't know if other people will. So what it basically means is the more wealth and wisdom you acquire, the more clients you get, the more money you make on a monthly basis, the more pain you are able to tolerate and the more pain you will have. I think people have this conception that the more money that you make, the less problems you have, but it's quite frankly the opposite, because the more money you make, the more clients you have, the bigger your problems get and the more stressful and harder they are to overcome. That's just life and that's how it is. And if you want to build a business and do something that not a lot of people can do and tolerate, you've got to go through those severe amounts of pain. And I've been watching a lot of podcasts recently that really talk about this in greater detail, and you've really got to love what you do in terms of building a business, what niche you're in, because any average or normal person would think it would be stupid to go through that level of pain in order to get to where you want to get, purely because you have to go through so much pain to get there. But if you love the journey and you love hitting those failures and understanding it's going to help you grow as an individual, that is how you get through that pain that only a very limited amount of people can get to and reach that milestone that not a lot of people can get to. But that's all I wanted to do. My rant's over, but you get the point. This was my initial accountability episode. This is going to be going on an ongoing basis, and I'm just going to basically be holding myself accountable and dropping loads of value in terms of mindset.